is 1400 Central African Time on Sunday, the 3rd of August 2025. This is the weekend's second edition of Africa at Play, with sport and music from an African perspective. Greetings to Africa and the world, and welcome. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are here in South Africa. If not, you can connect with us online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. My name is Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatshwa phandle kunjani moyani vukuvuku dendele. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. Coming up on Africa at Play, the 29th edition of the FIBA Women's Afrobasket 2025 tipped off on Saturday, the 26th of July in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and concluding on Sunday, the 3rd of August, bringing together 12 of Africa's top national teams for high-stakes basketball. Can the Tigresses of Nigeria make history by becoming the first team to win 5 consecutive titles? And what is the state of women's basketball in Africa? Drop us a WhatsApp voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Our Lusaka-based correspondent Namuchana speaks to a Zambian basketball coach Sitenga Kandala on today's topic.
On the state of women's basketball, I think women's basketball in Northern and West Africa is doing very well. I think they've got the structures right. They've gotten things sorted out. If you look at Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, those teams are doing very, very well. Southern Africa, not so well. Southern and Eastern Africa, not so well. I think Rwanda isn't bad. Rwanda's gotten quite a bit of investment, obviously, because President Kagame has an interest in basketball.
Also coming up, 4 European men's teams cruised to the playoffs of the 2025 International Wheelchair Basketball Federation IWBF 3x3 World Cup, dashing hopes and dreams of teams from Ocean Asia and African countries respectively. Austria coach Andy Zankel.
So I'm very happy. So we win the game. So it was our point to win this game. So we come in the semi-final against Canada or Australia. So I think we can beat both teams. So in this performance, we look in this game. Yeah, we'll see. So it's good for us. So we are European champion, Austria, the first European champion. Last year, 24, was the European champion in Vienna.
Yes.
So we was the winning team. So yeah, it's good for next day. So the guys need a little bit rest today, and we look for videos for this game, or we look this game now against Australia, against Canada. We have in the preliminary round Canada in the group, so we lost in the overtime, so maybe we can win today.
We will also get to hear from the refreshed Aiden Makram, ready to tap into Shukri Conrad's white ball competitive edge. Makram will lead a full-strength T20 international squad in the 320 internationals in Darwin and Cairns, while Bavuma will take charge of 3 further ODIs in Cairns and McKay.
Quite a few of us got some time off, so that's always really important, I feel. Be able to be at home and see what it meant to the people post sort of WTC was also cool. But like you mentioned now, it's an important series that's ahead for us against Australia and then to England as well. So fine-tuning some things and hopefully taking that stuff forward towards the World Cup.
There's action galore in different sporting codes kicking off starting in northwest province of South Africa at the Sun City Super Bowl, where action continues in the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation, the inaugural World Championships taking place on African soil in South Africa. And we now get to find out what is the latest as we welcome Nwabisa Nokuba, who is the Media Liaison Officer for Wheelchair Basketball South Africa. Nwabisa, very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Afternoon, Neto, and greeting to the listeners at home.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exciting Sunday afternoon. It must be more exhilarating on the basketball court at the Super Bowl. What's the latest?
Well, Neto, as you've just mentioned, today is day 3. We are wrapping things up. We just experienced four scintillating semi-finals on the women's category and on the men's category. And on the women's side, Australia was up against Spain, and Spain had upper hand there, finishing by 9-7, beating the women from Australia. And on the other side, it was the Canadian ladies were up against Great Britain, and also Canada had an upper hand, also winning there by 12-9. And we just experienced now the men's semi-finals between the tournament favorites, Poland, who were up against Spain. I can see that Spain really came prepared here, Neto. They both going to the finals, and Spain managed to beat Poland today by 9-7. It was unbelievable how the Spaniards managed to lock their high pointer to make sure that he's out of the game. The world-known player, Podolski, he couldn't take those baskets. He couldn't move. They made sure that they locked him down, and in that way they were able to penetrate. On the other one was another team that just mentioned, I think in your interviews, the coach was saying, for the four teams, it's anybody's game. It depends who is lucky on that particular day. And Austria went down to Canada by 12-13, and now we're going to experience, revenge when you see the teams that just went down in the semi-finals who will be going to the bronze medal playoffs. That is Australia in the women and Poland, and on the other side it's going to be Australia and Great Britain. So it's a final day today. We are wrapping things up by 5 o'clock this evening. We will be crowning champions in either of the categories. Neto.
Incredible indeed. How's the ambience? Did basketball fans come in their numbers?
Well, the basketball fans managed to support, but I think the challenge we've always mentioned when it comes to disability sport, it's not a South African problem, it's a global problem, that this kind of sports is not really supported by the public. The people you see coming through, it's actually people who are affected, families of the players, schools of the players who are playing within one of those leagues. But because also, we have taken this tournament, I think, on the South African side to Northwest Province. Most of the players who are in the national team are players who are based in Johannesburg. So the kind of support we always experience when we are in Johannesburg with the local disability schools coming through and the local people who already understand basketball, it is not the case. But because Sun City is a place of tourism, it is also, you cannot see that right out that there is not that much support, because there are people who are here to have fun. And also some of the players and coaches who have interviewed, they are very happy with how Sun City has hosted this. And everything is a nice village where everything is around, especially for those players who are physically challenged. It was a nice venue, nice decision for IWBF Africa to actually bring a tournament of this magnitude right here at Sun City.
Nobisa Nokuba, who is the media liaison officer for Wheelchair Basketball South Africa, giving us an update on action that is currently underway in Sun City at the Super Bowl, South Africa's Northwest Province. Nobisa, thank you so much for that comprehensive update. All the best to the teams on court. Basketball is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle.
Thank you so much.
Let's also bring you up to speed with football action coming up your way. The African Nations Championship that kicked off yesterday, the tournament opener at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, where we witnessed Tanzania Taifa Stars taking on the Stallions of Burkina Faso, and the home side winning that match comfortably by 2-0. Action continues today at the Moi Kasarani Stadium in Kenya, where the Harambee Stars, led by coach Benny McCarthy of South Africa, who also used to coach Manchester United, Amazulu and Cape Town City, will be leading the team against DR Congo, the Central Africans. That match kicked off at 1400 Central African time. We will make time to cross over to the stadium and find out what is the latest. Morocco, the Atlas Lions, will line up against the Portuguese-speaking outfit Angola today at 1700 Central African time. Madagascar is up against Mauritania at 1900 Central African time. Tomorrow, action continues. Niger up against Guinea. It is a West African derby at 1600 Central African time. The Uganda Cranes, also a co-hosting nation, will take on the Desert Foxes of Algeria at 1900 Central African time. Then on Tuesday, it will be Congo up against Sudan at 1600 Central African time. Teranga Lions of Senegal will take on the Super Eagles of Nigeria in another West African derby on Tuesday, the 5th of August at 1900 Central African time. We will continue to update you with different sporting fixtures that are taking place across the African continent and globally. 14:10 Central African time. When we come back, we're going to touch base with Kgothatso KG Montjane, one of Africa's best when it comes to wheelchair basketball, as we talk about the good heart of plowing back to those that can help themselves. This is Africa at Play. Astelel Siashaya.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge aka Binale Sport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Africa at Play with Neto, Neto Chemane.
14:12 Central African time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. Do make time to get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. Should it happen that you miss out on our conversations, worry not. Do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you click on more to access those conversations. And by all means, you can touch base with us by listening to those conversations. In a landmark moment for disability sports and youth empowerment, wheelchair tennis star Kgothatso KG Montjane officially handed over a state-of-the-art multi-purpose tennis court to Letaba Special School in Tzaneen on the 1st of August 2025. The event held during Women's Month underscores KG's commitment to nurturing the next generation of wheelchair tennis players and leaving a lasting legacy beyond the court. Montjane, a trailblazer in South African sports, becomes the first active athlete to directly fund and build sports infrastructure, settling a powerful example of giving back. The ceremony was graced by Limpopo MEC for Sport, Arts and Culture, Jerry Maseko, and Minister of Sport, Gayton McKenzie, who joined KG in this celebration. Let's now welcome the champion of the moment, Kgothatso KG Montjane. KG, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I must say, Happy Women's Month.
Thank you, thank you.
What a way to kick off Women's Month by donating a multi-purpose tennis court to Letaba School in Tzaneen. Talk to us about the importance of giving back, especially to those that can help themselves, because we understand that some areas across the country in South Africa are battling when it comes to infrastructure and facilities, especially the disadvantaged and the rural areas. But here's KG saying, if one makes a difference, imagine if others also go for the same purpose of giving back. South Africa would be a better land to live in.
Yeah, I think, when you're in a position or you're in a position where you have an influence in something, we need to try channel it into the right direction, or use it in a positive way. And I think that's how this project came about. It's been long coming. We wanting to make sure that we deliver it in the right way, we do things the right way, because it's mostly inspired by my story. I started where there were no facilities, but here I am today, I'm excelling in this sport. So for me, it's just to try to give the others, an opportunity so that they don't have to go through similar struggles that I went to. So yeah, I mean, I've seen the gap, and then we're just trying to fill it in the right way.
And talking about giving back, KG, how did you come up with a decision that Letaba Special School is the ideal school for this assistance?
Yeah, I had to check around Limpopo when coming to special schools, mostly for people with physical disabilities, on which school they don't have a tennis court. Obviously, my previous school, someone donated the tennis court when I started talking about this whole thing of building facilities. And Chilizini Special School has always had a tennis court. And Letaba, yeah, that's the one that I realized when I spoke to the teacher. One time they were playing in Pulukwani, and I can't remember what was I doing at the course by then. And I spoke to the teacher and I asked if they had a tennis court at their school, and she said they don't. And yeah, I think that's like 5 years ago. And I was like, I cannot promise anything, but with my foundation, we're trying to tap into that those sort of things where we really want to donate, facilities into rural areas or disadvantaged communities. So I will just put the school in my mind in case, things come all right. And yeah, that's how I came about choosing Letaba specifically.
14:17 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we're talking to the tennis champion, Kgothatso KG Montjane, who is giving back to the communities that are battling. And she chose the Letaba Special School in Tzaneen and Limpopo province. And it's good to see that the champions do not just celebrate themselves as champions, but they also think of giving back to those who can help themselves. And let's hope that this will be a wake-up call to other champions out there to do the same. KG, I'm touched by the fact that this conversation with one of the teachers about this tennis court at Letaba Special School happened 5 years ago. And here you are, 5 years later, you realize that you can't, although you didn't make a promise, but you worked on it through Kgothatso Montjane Foundation and you made it happen. How important is it that when you realize a need, you stick to your promise, although you only made that promise to your heart, as you didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously, I started this with my previous school, and when I had a conversation like a tennis court before someone built a tennis court, it was so disheartening to hear that they said someone came and promised, and those people never actually, delivered. So I just sort of didn't want to go through the same thing. I just wanted to make sure that as a foundation, we plan, accordingly. And it was good that already we had identified, the area where we wanted the project to be at. And yeah, I mean, it needs a thorough planning because sometimes people promise people stuff out of, joy and excitement. And later stage, they kind of like forget. So I didn't want it to be the same thing. I just wanted it to be something that was well planned so that we are able to execute it, the right way. Yeah, I just didn't want to tie myself should I didn't manage to find the funding, but I'm just glad we really managed to deliver.
Will this tennis court be given a special name like Letaba Special School, Kgothatso Montjane Tennis Court kind of vibe?
No, definitely. It's not really about me, it's just about giving the kids opportunity. It's about the kids, to really cherish this facility. It's not even going to be named after me. This is just me and my team trying to give the next generation, a step up into, or an opportunity into a sport like tennis. So yeah, we just doing what we can to help the others, because I, for one, also there are people who are helping me along the way as I'm still an active athlete, So I just thought I also, show my gratitude in that particular way to those who have helped me, so that I can, help the others. But yeah, I'm not gonna try to be in the center of it and say it must be named after me. It's just for the kids in the school to, yeah, to also, go for that opportunity for one to become a tennis player.
14:20 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we're talking to Kgothatso KG Montjane, who's done wonders giving back to a community in Tzaneen in South Africa's Limpopo province at the Letaba Sports Special School, giving back a tennis court to make certain that regardless of how disadvantaged the area may be, but young Africans should be able to have an opportunity to play the sport of tennis. KG, please do stay on the line. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what's the latest when it comes to KG and the tennis court.
Weekends just got better. Only on Channel Africa.
Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender based violence GBV zikuwononga miyoyo komanso kuphwasula midzi. Zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito, ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete, koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani. Ngati mwakhudzidwa, funani chithandizo, chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Mverani ku mawayilesi onse 14 a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julayi kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionetsero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri, anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi, kukhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhudzidwa ndi nkhanzazi. Zonsezi pa wayilesi yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. Imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Uthenga ukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:22 Central African Time. A warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we're wrapping up a conversation with Kgothatso KG Montjane, one of Africa's best when it comes to wheelchair tennis. KG, thank you so much for staying on the line. When last did you play a tennis match and how did it go?
Yeah, I just recently came back from, Wimbledon, where I lost in the semi-finals. So, yeah, it's not far off. It's been like, I think 2 weeks and a half ago. So, yeah.
Having finished in the semis, does it bother you that you were so close to making it to the final?
No, not that I'm bothered, For me, it's just, good progress looking at the results from the previous years. So I'm just happy with the results. And I can only, build from here and, try to do better into the next competition.
In your line of work as a tennis player, you get to travel to different parts of the world. Any lessons that you've came across during these traveling moments as you go to your Wimbledon and different other international tennis events?
I don't know if there are any lessons in terms of traveling. I mean, it's quite tiring on its own, moving from one country to the other all the time. I wish there was an easier way to actually do it, to be honest. But I just think, all the time one just need to make sure that they get to a particular place early or country early so that they can just acclimatize and make sure that they're well rested, like before competition. So, I think that those are just like, lessons that I've been learning for years.
And before we say goodbye, when are you going back to the tennis court?
I'm back training. I'm back training from last week. Yeah, it's just happened that this weekend we had to hand over the tennis court. But I've been back trying to prepare for the US Open in September.
Your Women's Day message to African women out there?
To just keep believing in themselves because, they have a special gift, which is, God-given strength. And, they should never feel ashamed to keep exploring that particular strength that's coming from, the man above. So they need to cherish it because I believe as women we are very special, very much gifted, and we need to keep pushing boundaries to show the world what we are capable of.
Khothatso KG Montjane, one of Africa's best when it comes to wheelchair tennis, a lady who gets to travel to different parts of the world, representing not just South Africa, but the entire African continent, an inspiration to young teenage players and bundles of joy, those that are 12 years and below. Khothatso KG Montjane, thank you so much. It's always an awesome pleasure talking to you on Africa at Play. All the best moving forward, and happy Women's Month once more.
Thank you for having me.
14:25 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our tennis conversation, but also a good heart from Khothatso KG Montjane's foundation, plowing back by choosing Letaba Special School in Tzaneen, South Africa's Limpopo province, donating a tennis court to say, yes, you may be having struggles in different areas of your lives, but at least let the young athletes be able to access the sport of tennis. We take a short break. When we come back, we will be rolling out a red carpet for our legends of the MTN 8, Lehloonolo Majoro, together with Vuyomiri. Orlando Pirates, as Mnyama Ngengane, prevailed Escotini yesterday against Polokwane City. Rise and shine, couldn't rise and shine as they went down by 2-0. This is Africa at Play.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
It's Chris with the drama body. Kutoka Manzabe, picha twazi twanga kisera, posti insta wanga kwa kera, baada ya chali kimoko. Cause I just wanna let them know I'm African beauty. African beauty. African beauty. You're my African beauty. African beauty. Round the world, girl, I've been looking for you. I think I might just find you in Africa. Girl, you know the sound when I come around. Lost you in the crowd, girl, pick up your crown. Do it now, do it now. Do it now, do it now. Penzi tali kama ngojera, kuba kama tanga segera. Oyoroka bakoko, kutoka Mazabe. Picha twazi twanga kisera, posti insta wanga kwa kera. Atajabi kemoko, 'cause I just wanna let you know. African beauty, mama, African beauty, you're my African beauty, African beauty. Oh, love is what I see when I look into your eyes. Tiny cube, Navola, and you know it is up to be the one that takes you high. Tumwili chumali kila kona, benzi tali papa ngojera, uba kama tanga segera. vya paikopo kutoka Manzambe, picha twazi twanga kisera, posti insta wanga kwa kera, baada ya chali kimoko. Cause I just wanna let them know I'm African beauty. Oh, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine, I'm African beauty.
Something you like on Channel Africa and you would like to hear it again? Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website www.channelafrica.co.za and look for our podcast.
14:34 Central African Time. Victor Nee, just the passion that goes with African artists is amazing. Soweto featuring Don Toliver, Rema and Tampu. And before that, we played you African Beauty by Diamond Platinums featuring Omarion. People who know beauty will tell you nothing beats African beauty. It is that time of the afternoon where we've got to welcome the legends of the beautiful game, MTN 8 legends, Lehlonolo Major Majoro together with Morgan Gold. Let's start with Major. Major, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you and your listeners. It's a pleasure to be here.
I saw a video clip on TikTok of this fan singing, saying, others are not here. And you see a badge of Kaizer Chiefs and a badge of Orlando Pirates, and he says, others are still here, talking about the MTN 8. What does it mean for the MTN 8 to not have Kaizer Chiefs?
Obviously, like Kaizer Chiefs is one of the biggest teams in Africa, and for them to miss out in MTN 8, it is kind of like sad for their supporters and also our football, because we know how Kaizer Chiefs faithfuls are, how they rally behind their team. So missing them in top 8, it is a bit tricky, but hey, you work for your position in top 8.
It's football.
Yeah.
You played for Kaizer Chiefs, and I don't remember during your playing days missing out on an MTN 8.
Yeah, no, and I also played a lot of finals and never won it. So I was watching this other game when we were playing against Morgan in the Super Sport versus Cape Town City. Yo. It brought back the memories of us being in this wonderful trophy of Wafa Wafa, and the chances I missed there, Mogi. I don't know how. I don't know how I missed those chances, but we lost against them.
And you can't reverse the time.
No, I can't.
You miss, you move on with life.
Yeah.
Let's also welcome Morgan Gold to the conversation. So in football, there is this thing called a substitution. You were expecting Vuyomeri. He's been substituted with Morgan Gold. Morgan, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Yeah, thank you very much to you, sir, the velvet voice of Africa.
Oh, yeah?
The velvet voice. I don't forget those words.
No, you went to a good school.
No, thank you very much. You know, just bearing testament to substitution, it's one of those. If I think back to when we beat, we won, where was Durban?
Yeah, we went Durban.
Marsha scored. And I got substituted, and I secured the points. I'm here to secure everything, man. Yeah, so I think I can't stand for Vuyo, but I think he asked me to replace him, and I don't know. It's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, but even your size is a decent big size, so it's all good. Let's talk about the MTN 8. What's exciting this year? We saw Orlando Pirates prevailing as Godini yesterday, beating Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine couldn't rise and shine.
Yeah. Good game. Pirates very dominant. I was more excited to see the people inside Escotin. It was packed to the rafters. I even had my own son not able to come into the stadium because there were so many tickets being sold. Fortunately, nothing happened. Everything was well taken care of. Look, the part that excited me the most, it was the goals. Goals for charity. It's a good thing. The charity is gonna benefit from all the teams scoring goals. And right now we're sitting on, I think, 140.
Yeah, 140.
If I'm not mistaken. That's for me. MTN just does so well when it comes to those type of initiatives.
If you have just joined us, we're talking to the MTN 8 legends, Morgan Gold, together with Lehlonolo Major Majoro. Major, you played for Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I must say it's one of those circumstances, or what can I say, opportunities that are rare. It's rare that a person says I played for both Chiefs and Pirates, but I'm honored now that I don't have a team at this point in time. Like, I look back and reflect on my career and say, like, you did very well. My young self would have been proud because my dream was to be in a pro league. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but through hard work and dedication, I managed to play for one of the biggest teams in South Africa, in Kaizer Chiefs. not knowing that I will also play for Pirates, but I did that both.
I've always wondered how come you didn't play for Siwelele.
It's not too late, eh? It's not too late.
That's a good question. Funny enough, like I was there when they started their development, 2003, I think. I was amongst the guys that were trialing there. I think out of 1,000 players that were there, there was 5 of us that were selected, but unfortunately I was still in grade 11, I think, at the time, grade 10, grade 11 there. So I couldn't feature into their thing, their development because of school. And I just never made it to the first team or development. But funny enough, they were angry at me that, like, hey, you left Free State, you went to Durban to go play for. It was like, yeah, the opportunity was there. I was here. You guys overlooked me. So it is what it is, eh? Life.
It's like the people in eThekwini, but they never go to the beach. And then you get someone from Mpumalanga driving all the way to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Very exciting indeed. Mark, tell us more about what is so exciting in this year's edition. There's always last legend standing, last media personnel standing, that kind of vibe when it comes to the MTN 8 and the goals. Just every goal means something.
Yeah, so I'll go back, recap onto the goals for charity. Every goal that's scored within regulation time. Regulation time is from minute 0 to 90. Each goal scored, they donate 20,000 to Goals for Charity. And as we know now, there's seven goals been scored this far, and this is only 2 games.
Yeah.
Which there's 140 in the kitty. And then there's the one I really, really enjoy is the Dream Bags, where we go out and give coaching lessons, or we speak to the kids in and around the areas that they obviously choose, and we leave them with a dream bag. With a dream bag consists of whether netball kit, soccer kit, and small things that they can empower themselves with, because I think we come from those communities where we weren't exposed to a lot. And now that we are exposed to a lot, how about we expose the new generation and the next generation to come? So for me, it's imperative, and it's also well observed and well done by the leaders of who we are representing here today, which is MTN.
14:42 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, this is Africa at Play. As Deleli Siashaya. We take a short break. When we come back, we will touch base with the MTN 8 legends. That is Lehlono Majoro together with Morgan Gold, and find out about what's happening when a legend says they retire. Because from what I've witnessed, they only retire to go back to the same boots, and they go to coaching, they start academies, which is very good for the beautiful game.
Years of great sporting action is as good as a lifetime, because the legends stay on. Stella Longwe, Pamalonje.
Palitusokoma pano pamalonje, kumvera nyimbo za mu Africa, kusangalala, kupeza moyo, akuti kumva moyo kuti kuyenda bwino pano pamalonje. Ndiyetu apa tili ndi katswiri oyimba ameneyu ndikatswiri wa dziko la Malawi amene akukhala mdziko la South Africa, ndipo amayimba amene akuti ndi Big Nick Malawi. Tatusati kuti kodi moyo wanu woyimba ukuyenda bwanji mu Johannesburg?
Moyo woyimba ukuyenda bwinobwino kwambiri, chiliyonse chikutheka ndithu bwinobwino.
Ayi, aziwoneka chiliyonse chikutheka mofa magrasi anu apa akuti kumenya yonse aziwoneka zoti azikutheka ndithu mu Johannesburg.
Malonje, panthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo. Lowiruka ndi Stella Longwe. What are the sports legends up to? Let's find out from our legend of the day on Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
14:44 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play with sport and music from an African perspective. This is Channel Africa, broadcasting to the world about Africa in 5 languages: in English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, Portuguese, and French. We still have the MTN 8 legends, Morgan Gold, together with Lehlono Majoro. Mog, your son plays football. Did you influence him, or he made his own decision? And how's it going so far?
You know, when you're when you're a taxi driver, you always say to your kid, "You must not." And I don't think we understand. We don't understand how the brain processes. The brain doesn't know the "don't" part. It only catches on to the main words. So I've been saying to him, "Hey, my brother, don't play football." But the more I say "don't," is the more the brain and the body want. So he is playing. Fortunately, he's still a youngster. He still needs to go through his ranks. He's okay, you know. I think he still has a long way to go, and he's seen the scars that I have, you know. But you know, everything is up to him. It's how much he wants it. I can just support and be there for him and guide him.
Same position as you?
Most definitely. He's said to me a number of times that he's so much better than me, and I believe he is better than me. But I've got the accolades. He still needs to, you know, acquire the accolades. But sometimes in football, I also like to express to a lot of people, sometimes accolades is not everybody's success, but the success lies within the human being. Because for myself, for me, playing football at a professional level, and Major said it, that was a success. And we don't need to look at the trophies and the medals. That's just added extra. But we see success in a different way, and I'm trying to preach that to him and to many other youngsters to say, go for your dream. And if you get the accolades, it's a bonus. It's a cherry on top.
Exciting indeed. Major, let's talk about Mesa. The last time we spoke, you sounded so very passionate, your partnership with Itukune, because when you have an academy of strikers, you need goalkeepers. You can't have a one-way traffic just kick into an open net. How's it going so far?
Yeah, no, it is growing, but slowly. Still requires a lot of hard work. People need to know more about it because they think it's actually an academy, but it is more of a training session where you do finishing drills, game situation, game related finishing. Of course, as a striker or a former pro striker, I've seen how difficult it is for coaches to say, today I'm going to work on strikers and finishing only. They always focus on group work, where it's either we are fixing the previous game's mistakes as a group, or we are preparing for the upcoming opponents that we are playing either on Wednesday or Saturday. So there's never enough time for strikers to spend an hour or even 30 minutes constantly kicking the ball to do finishing. So I thought, let me assist my fellow strikers by creating Mesa, and also those up-and-coming youngsters that aspire to become strikers to also take their game to the next level by having more sessions with a dedicated person that will deal with finishing drills, so that we can have better strikers that will be driven by scoring goals each and every game.
When you look at your journey as a striker, in terms of what you've learned, what you've achieved in the process, and you compare it with the current youngsters, who takes long to connect in terms of learning? Were you learning quick, or they are learning quick, or vice versa, perhaps they are learning slow?
I must say each and every generation, they have their way of play. Often we have this thing of comparing players and say, like, during, let's make an example, during Abojeris Kosana, they used to do this. That's how the game was played at that time. There was our time at Chiefs, they will know, like, they used to push me as a striker because him especially, we used to have bets, even at training, to say, like, we're playing small-sided games. If you don't score 4 goals, you owe me 100 rand. If you score 4 goals, then I owe you 100 rand. And those were the things that made me, as a striker, to become better, because I was playing against good defenders, people that are dedicated, and people that knew what winning takes. So I will say, generation to generation, it differs. It only depends on how driven are you as an individual. So I wouldn't say there's fast learners and slow learners.
If you have missed out on the MTN 8 Action 2025 edition, Orlando Pirates had a good day on the pitch, beating Polokwane City by 2-0, and that means 40,000 if you refer it to the MTN 8 giveaway. And there's also Sekhukhune United, who beat TS Galaxy by 3-2 in a 5-goal thriller. In total, 7 goals. That amounts to 140,000. There's still more games coming up. Stellenbosch taking on AmaZulu. That match is kicking off in the next 10 minutes. And there's also Mamelodi Sundowns up against Richards Bay. Mark, Stellenbosch, AmaZulu, are we likely to see more goals, more grants?
Yeah, definitely. I think I fear I fear for MTN and Goals for Charity. If we have a 10-goal thriller, it goes up. But it's exciting also because now the communities are going to be receiving. But it's going to be a very close game. Reason why I say it's a close game, remember AmaZulu still scarred from the 5-0 that they got from Stellenbosch, and if you look at head-to-head, they've played 13 games in all competitions, obviously edging a little bit closer, which is AmaZulu's on top of that, and Stellenbosch is playing at home. It's going to be two of the best coaches or two of the best technical teams, South African technical teams, that are going up against one another. Because if you look at Arthur, where he came from when he left Chiefs, AmaZulu was at, the low, and then he put them up into the MTN 8. Same with Steve Barker. They've done phenomenal. So it's going to be a really... I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. My football side will say it's going to be a very close game where it's not going to be much goals, but my heart wants more goals, because more goals means more lives are going to be touched.
And we're breaking the bank of MTN 8.
We want to break that
by
bank.
getting as many thousands as possible.
Yes, we need to.
Your team that is attached to you for the last legend standing?
Then you hear the moaning and groaning next to me. Is H. You know what H means?
Yeah.
For people that don't know, my African brothers, my European brothers, H means there's a problem.
Yeah.
He's succumbed to something very great. He's out of the tournament, TS Galaxy. Unfortunately, they contributed only 40,000, which we appreciate your services, sir. Continue supporting others. And my team is Stellenbosch. It's one of those Stellis of necks. So today, Ebe Usutu are they in trouble.
Yeah, exciting indeed. Major, out of the tournament so quick.
This is the second season in a row selecting TS Galaxy. I had high hopes of them going further, especially after they scored 2 goals. I was like, finally we go into the semi-finals. Little did I know. Sekhukhune had something.
There's Bradley Grobler, my man. Bradley Grobler.
The sniper did the things. So, yes, I'm out. But all is not lost. MTN always make sure that it takes care of the legends. So I'll be contributing 20,000 into the kitty towards the last legend standing. The total price will be 180. Whoever wins the tournament, I'm left with 20,000 to donate to charity of my choice. Of course, MTN is trying by all means to touch people's lives in different ways. So we come from different backgrounds, like Morgan said, come from Free State. So the 20,000, I'll be contributing it towards foundation in Free State so that it can touch lives. So yeah, I'm out, but all is not lost. Wafa.
Oh, yeah?
Just another one. I think just sitting here and listening to Major, we both actually represented. Here I represented AmaZulu. I represented Stellenbosch at some point. What a coincidence,
Yeah.
And we both have history from both teams. So I really, we take it for granted that what football has given us. It's given us a connection. It's given us so much to talk about, yes, some of the players don't have the trophies to show it, but you have the memories in your heart and in your mind to share with your siblings, and it's those are the type of moments where I am actually privileged, and we're just privileged to have a great striker in Major, And I'm actually happy that he actually recognized after my career. He says I wasn't a bad defender. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Did you have to play against each other at one point?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh
We
yes.
played.
Yeah.
Like he was one of the defenders that irritated me a lot.
Yeah.
Because he had this thing of before I make a run and then he takes my hand away and I'm like, yo, it makes you off balance a bit because that's how clever he was. And yes, I played with him in the final. Like I said, I was watching Supersport versus Cape Town City MTN 8 final where we lost in penalties, where we scored early. I was still playing for Cape Town City and he was there. They had a good squad, but the Cape Town City at that time was also brilliant under
Powerful, yeah.
Coach Benny. So we had those memories of being opponents and being teammates.
And both teams wore blue, but the other blue prevailed.
Yeah, they were wearing red on that day.
On that day.
We were hot, eh? We were hot.
Red for ten.
Yeah, yeah.
Masandawana up against the Natal Rich Boys. What can we expect there?
Sundowns is gonna come gun blazing, I'm sure, to send a message that they have arrived, because we saw Pirates send the message. So I'm expecting good football, more goals, like Morgan said, goals for charity. So they're not a pushover, Natal Rich Boys, but they understand the mammoth task that they have ahead of them in Mamelodi Sundowns. And we know Sundowns plays good football, and if you do not pitch on the day, you will get hammered. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'll be there watching it live. So more goals.
Possible 5 goals? 100K.
That's 100K. So
Yeah.
you know, us when we talk goals, we talk money towards charity. So it's possible that we can see minimum of 2 goals or more, minimum.
As we say goodbye, your parting shot?
I would like to urge people to get on time on the stadium because, like you said, Stellenbosch is playing Amazulu now, and then later on Mamelodi Sundowns against Richards Bay. So let's try to be punctual when we go to the stadium. Let's come and support our boys. Football is back. Wafa, 10 million. It's to be won. So let's celebrate our team Bazokfila in style. You might be the lucky one that will get 10,000 by just showing up for your team. Who knows?
It's Women's Month. Your special message to women of Africa?
It's Women's Month, also my birthday month. But I know I'm now used to taking a back seat when it comes to my birthday month. I would like to say thank you to all the women in our lives for nurturing us, those who take care of us, our mothers, our wives, sisters. We value you guys. Without you guys, life is incomplete. We'll always try by all means to protect you guys and be there for you guys when you need us.
Mark, some former players keep fit, others don't. You end up seeing a beer stomach later on in life. How important it is for legends to keep fit?
No, it's very important. I don't think it's just for leisure. I think it's for health also, you know. It's important that you do the exercises because it keeps the mind, the body keeps the mind healthy. And if it goes and correlates, I think you'd live longer and you'd go past all the small deficiencies or illnesses that you may find when it comes to like obesity or heart problems. So I think it's important that we do try and do something, you know, something active, whether it's hiking or there's so many sports that you can do. I know guys don't like Pilates, but trust you me, people that do Pilates really, really work hard. In a short space of time, in an hour, you're out. It may look like, no, but I think it's very important. Save your medical aids, guys. I think.
Yeah,
go and
exercise.
do something. Exercise. It's just good for because we in Africa we eat a lot, we exercise less, but we've got such good genes, majority of us, that it doesn't look like we can get those illnesses, but it's illnesses hide sometimes, and you'll find out a very healthy person like myself and Majoro has just fainted outside, but it's because our genes are good. However, what we put in our body, we must expect out. So whatever you put in, you must know it's whatever your body's gonna exert.
Wow, very profound. Your parting shot?
Look, I mean, thank you for having us here. The game is up and going. I'm sitting here wishing Stellenbosch can do the business. But however, for football, I think for all the football lovers, we just love and appreciate what they've done. And to our rocks in our lives, our mothers, our sisters, guys, we really, really appreciate what you've done for us, whether you be a mother, a neighbor, whatever. Ladies have been through a lot, and we need to protect them because they truly are a rock in our lives. Without a woman or a lady, I don't think any of us would be around. So my parting shot is we love and appreciate, and they must enjoy this month to the fullest. Don't stress us out. We won't stress them out.
I like that. Thank you so much for pulling through to Africa at Play.
Thank you very much. It's always an honor and a pleasure being here with you, Sir Velvet Voice.
Oh, yeah?
I look forward to many other interviews.
Thank you so much. Major, thank you so much for pulling through.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Marvelous. That's how we say goodbye to the first hour of Africa at Play as we officially enter the second hour. Let's take a short break. This is Africa at Play.
Years of great sporting action is as good as a lifetime because the legends stay on.
Africa, voici Abedi. Oui, c'est moi. Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
No fairy tales, just the facts and the music you love on Channel Africa.
Check my energy, I no get time for no enemy. Three people late on me. Nothing with person never see. I'm on nothing with person never see. Forget it, I say bashi. Money soon expected. Take our body agent. I take her to the person. Jelly. I'm in the answer, yes sir. Then I'm in the answer, yes sir. Respect is reciprocal, even though I know she's special. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we no the body. I can't something, I can't something. Go back, I can't something. You want job where you never work, so now because myself I never talk. I look you, they laugh you, don't, I shall no say the time go come, mama, I no say the time go come. Mommy, you no go fit the line no more. Mama, life not on by gun. Whether you like or not, go back in, tell me you best get it go pass. So yeah, keep it jack up. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody. body gentle. I did that to the person. I'm in the answer, yes sir. Then I'm in the answer, yes sir. Respect is reciprocal, even though I know say I'm special. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we not the carry body. Nah, can't something, nah, can't something. No baka fele, nah, can't something. No baka fele,
Like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
It's Legendary Beats.
They know my story. From old dog studio, I be hustle to work. Say, me do a leba, me and Siri. From old dog studio, we been hustle to work. Say, me do a leba, my people dead, my people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Hey, me do a leba, my people dead. Them they pray for blessing, for better living. Hey, kilo dale, aye ole tonya o, aye oni double, adura lo le she o, call on daddy, adura agba o, tishu eni badele, afowo boja. I am feeling good tonight. This thing got me thinking of life. Oh, I can't explain. I can't explain. Yeah. I am feeling good tonight. This thing got me thinking of life. I can't explain. I can't explain.
15:08 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. This is the second hour of Africa at Play. Looking forward to another exciting hour from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central African Time. In this hour, we played you an exciting song by Burna Boy, one of those loved on the African continent and globally, saying Anybody. And the song that you are listening to right now is Whiskey saying Olulegba. We now welcome to Africa at Play those that are doing the most out there, devoting their lives to the game of football, making certain that they plow back to the youngsters so that we don't run dry of quality players in the future, because these youngsters are of paramount significance significance rather, because they are the future stars. As we welcome Coach Neto Chemane, also known as Coach Zen, the founder of the Complete Footballer Academy, and we will also be talking to the two teenage players. That is Amolenza, a 17-year-old. He plays as a central attacking midfielder, together with Liam Leroux, 18-year-old, who plays as a left back. Coach Gowa, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I would love to, share my story and just, sort of share the experiences we've had, in the last few weeks with the players as we went abroad. So yes, thank you again. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Coach. And I'm already interested in your story, and not just me, but the entire African continent and those listening from abroad. Coach, let's take it a step backward to where it all began. How did you meet the game of football?
Football for me was a very interesting one. From the time I was 6 years old, I was playing FIFA. Then from the time I was, probably 6.5, 7, I actually started playing football. So I was very interested in the game. So as I started playing, I think my very first year, I actually didn't make the squad. And, that, really devastated me. So my mom actually took me to gymnastics. And, for that year, I was doing gymnastics. And then, that gave me a very good, solid base, physically to, go into football. And from the next, year, I was, one of the best players. And then eventually best player in my school. And a lot of the years in club as I went forward. And, the love for me, football, I mean, it's truly the most breathtaking game. And I played a lot of sports, and I was very proficient at all, but football was always my love. So for me, my experience was a little bit difficult, I would say, in that I was very good when I was young. I went overseas, I went abroad, I did, the trials, I was in an academy, for a few weeks, and, not making it, coming back, and then starting to understand the reasons why. It was a little bit dejecting, but, I was still in football. And, then I went to played, I was playing at Highlands Park at a point, probably the biggest team I'd say that we would know, but a lot of amateur teams, Santon Football Club, that's where everything started. I played at Balfour, stint at Silver Stars, before it became Platinum Stars eventually. And, just my experience of the whole professional side of football in South Africa compared to how it was, in England was, very, very shocking. If I can tell you honestly, it just felt like the professional level here wasn't the same. And, by the time I was 21, 22, I was really pretty much over playing football, playing in leagues where, players are, getting bribes, to the coaches, to the refs, things like that, to win leagues, and I eventually left football, very, very disheartening for me. And I sort of closed that chapter in my life. I then carried on, I went into IT. I was working with my family, 5 years or so. And I really started missing the game. I played a game of five-a-side. And I realized how unfit I'd become, and how much my level had dropped from where I was. And that sort of inspired me to get back into football. And I happened to see, one of my colleagues, Nick Stothard. He's actually a very good coach. He's been at Tux in development for the last few years, won a few times. I saw him doing his UEFA C license, and, I was just watching his progress. And I'd reached out to him and asked, what it is that he's doing, how did he go about doing this? And, for me, that's where my coaching journey really began. So I went, at Tux, I did my university, I did my UEFA C license. And then I did an assessment as well in Namibia for the C license. And from there, I started working at an academy, which turned out to sort of be a fly-by-night. And when we started asking questions, we quickly got released. And then I found myself, back on the streets by myself alone, not really on the streets, but, in terms of coaching. And that's when I started the Complete Footballer. And from there, the journey it's been quite a long journey and difficult one, but the rewards that you get, and what you see from the players is, top tier. I mean, for me, that's how I realized football, coming back into football really saved me. I was in a very dark place, when I was younger, and, football just brought me back to the lights, let's say. And from there, knowing what I know now, developing players, giving them the opportunities and the knowledge that we didn't have, when we were sort of growing up is, what my passion is and sort of where my pathway lies. So, going back to then where the Complete Footballer started, it started as, me just doing private training for players, till eventually the need for a team developed, and in which case we started with Limitless Football Program, which ran out of Delta Park School. And from there, we had some tremendous growth. Few of those players currently still coach for me now. And a lot of those players, ended up going on becoming, pros, signing contracts, which was good, in Europe, Asia, places like that. And that's where I realized, the benefits of, doing something like this. As much as it's not for me, the country, like we say, as a whole will benefit. But watching the personal development, through players, is really what sparked my passion. So as we had to form a club, the club, quickly grew in numbers, and we moved venues, to Steyn City School, which is now our current, flagship venue where we train out of and, do most of our clinics and, training services, let's say. And, from there, Gold City Royals was formed, and that's the football club, that now runs out of the school, where a lot of the players from the Complete Footballer are, scouted and then sent to the club. But we also still work, a lot with players, from different clubs, because for me, like I said, it's not about taking players and trying to monopolize my brand, or the Gold City Royals brand, let's say, but it's just about getting as many players as possible, the development that they need and, the opportunities. So, we've had over the past few years, we were founded in, what's it now, 2019. So it's been quite a while now, but I would say in the last few years, we've had, multiple players getting scholarship opportunities and then scholarships, to go to study in the USA. We've actually had 2 of the boys now that literally just left a few days ago. And, we've had a few players sign pro contracts. We've got players playing in Europe, Germany, Italy. So, yeah, for me to just see what it is that we're doing, for the players and to, give them these opportunities to take them over and, them being able to see for themselves, it's sort of a priceless thing, and over the long term, these players will develop and hopefully, be scouted and be noticed by the national team. But if not, still be able to pursue football, as a career, as opposed to, leaving football and now having to go do something else, like, the experience that I had and so many of my players that I used to play with have had. So yeah, the main thing for me now, I guess, in terms of development is, just getting as many opportunities for players, whether it's locally or abroad, for academic reasons or, strictly just football purposes.
That's the glittering story of our special guest, Neto Chemane, also known as Coach Zen, who is the founder of the Complete Footballer Academy. And we also have other teenagers in sport. That is Amolenza, a 17-year-old who plays as a central attacking midfielder, together with Liam Leroux, 18-year-old who plays as a left back. Let's now welcome to Africa at Play, Amolenza. Amo, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Talk to us about the Complete Footballer Academy. When did you join the academy and how has it been?
So I only joined the Complete Footballer at the start of this year. And how I found out about them was literally on Instagram, around the end of last year, December. And I got in touch, I asked my mom to get in touch with Coach Zen. And we started doing private lessons, private sessions and all of that. And then from then, I joined Coach Zen's club, and then, it's been good so far.
What kind of a coach is Coach Zen?
Coach Zen is a very, he's a very critical thinker. So you can tell that he puts a lot of tactics and a lot of thinking into what needs to be done. And when it comes to players, individually, he knows what each player consists of, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what they can improve to be better as a footballer.
That's the voice of Amolenza, who is a 17-year-old central attacking midfielder who is part of the Complete Footballer Academy, who got an opportunity to go abroad to go and exercise his football skills on another level. Let's also welcome his teammate, Liam Leroux, 18-year-old, who plays as a left back. Liam, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. It's a beautiful day.
When did you start kicking a soccer ball?
When did I start kicking a ball? I've been kicking a soccer ball for almost 16 years. Since I was 2 years old, I've been playing football.
Interesting indeed. And having kicked off the ball since you were 2 years and you are now 18, you're sitting with 16 years experience, more than a decade and a half experience. Talk to us about what you've learned in this journey. How long did it take you to master the basic techniques of the game? Chest trap, passing the ball, trapping the ball and all of that.
I mean, even today I still make mistakes. I wouldn't say I've completely mastered it, because if I've mastered it, I would be a professional. But throughout the 16 years that I'm playing, I've not only learned a lot about football, but like life in general, like applying stuff I do in football to my everyday life and stuff like that. It just helped me mature as a person. And with all the coaches I've been throughout the years, Coach Zen I've actually been with. I joined in 2019. I was one of the first players to join, and then I actually moved abroad for a couple of years and then came back. And Coach Zen is the only coach, in my opinion, that doesn't teach you how to play South African football, but teaches you how to play European football. And instead of worrying about all the skills and stuff, we master the basics. And I lived in Europe, where the first thing they always do is make sure that you know how to trap the ball, like you said. They know how to control the ball, how to pass in a straight line, know how to get the ball from under your feet. So that's just the stuff I've learned throughout the 16 years, and made a lot of friends and connections and so forth.
15:21 Central African time, and that's the voice of Liam Leroux, who is an 18-year-old left-back player who plays for Complete Footballer Academy. And we also have his teammate Amolenza, a 17-year-old who plays as a central attacking midfielder. And of course, we've got their mentor, that is Coach Neto Chemane, well known as Coach Zen. Gentlemen, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music. Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
In recent weeks, East Africa has seen a disturbing rise in human rights violations. In Kenya, digital activist Rose Njeri was arrested under the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act after creating a tool for citizens to oppose the Finance Bill 2025. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan lawyer Agatha Atuhaire reported being detained, tortured, and sexually assaulted by security officers.
East Africa needs a reset. We need to get back East Africa to where the founding fathers are. When President Nyerere and his colleagues Jomo Kenyatta and the Ugandan counterparts fought for independence, they fought for independence to get Africans out of poverty, to get Africans out of slavery. The leaders who took up power have since gotten into regression.
Neto Agostino, co-leader of the United Green Movement Party.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Exclusive to Africa at Play on Channel Africa. Teenagers in Sports with Neto Chemane.
15:23 Central African time. We are talking to the teenagers in sport. We've got Amolenza, 17-year-old central attacking midfielder, together with his partner in crime, his teammate Liam Leroux, 18-year-old, who plays as a left back, as well as their mentor, the founder of Complete Footballer Academy, Coach Neto Chemane, well known as Coach Zen. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for staying on the line. Let's bring back to the conversation Amo, welcome back to Africa at Play. You and Liam got to share a room when you went abroad. When did you go to, and how was it sharing a room with Liam?
So when we went to America, we left 1st of July and landed on the 2nd. And then I think like the whole experience with Liam being my roommate is actually kind of comforting because I already play with him in the same club. So it was honestly like good to have like a teammate and a friend there. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
What kind of left back is Liam Leroux, Amo?
So surprisingly enough, Liam isn't. Well, he just started playing left back recently, but just before he was a striker. And while we're in America, obviously we're just experimenting with like a lot of players at different positions. He ended up going left back, and as a left back, he's pretty like good defensively. And every time like he receives the ball, he would like make those like runs up the line, a lot of chances being created, and yeah, he's very good.
Interesting indeed. Liam, you used to play as a striker, now a left back. Do you miss scoring goals?
Sorry. Well, over the years, I've kind of experimented with every position. So throughout the years, I've always been an attacker. I've been a right wing striker, and then I almost realized that. So I started playing left back while I was in America. I started off as a striker, and I do miss scoring goals and stuff, but I realized I can also score goals as a left back, and I'm a lot more composed, and I feel like I'm a better player at left back, because I also play left wing back and left wing as I'm left-footed, so I can play. I have the sense of how to attack. I have a sense of how to defend. I'm quite quick, so I do miss scoring all the goals, but I also enjoy defending and giving a nice long ball over the top, etc.
Diversity is the name of the game, being able to play in different positions. So let's bring back the mentor, that is Coach Zen, to tell us more about these interesting teenagers in sport, the footballers, a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, Amo Lentsa, as well as Liam Leroux. Coach, welcome back to Africa at Play. Talk to us about Amo Lentsa. What kind of central attacking midfielder is Amo?
Look, I would say, Amo, in terms of football IQ, he's got a very high football IQ. I mean, we've worked with a lot of players, and obviously there's a lot of different demographics in the club. And, with some of the other players, they do struggle, with like the critical side of thinking and, the high level of understanding the game. Whereas Amo, he's super coachable and he can really understand. I would say probably one of the highest IQs that we have, in the club.
Interesting indeed. And Coach, we also have Liam Leroux, who has been in the game for good 16 years, having started playing the game at a tender age of 2. Very important to start playing the game at an early age, especially if you want to turn professional. What kind of a player is Liam? But also the diversity of being able to play in different positions. It talks very highly to my heart.
Exactly, yes. So Liam as well, like I said, similar to Amo, one of the highest IQ players that we have in the club. His understanding of football and his adaptability, is top class. I mean, we've even had a game where he had to play keeper, and in terms of communication, understanding, distribution, he was probably better than some of the keepers we've had over the years. So, yeah, I think Liam, having been attacking before, he really understands the concepts of how to go forward and when to go forward. And, now that we've put him into a left back role, I figured it's a lot easier for him to, pick and choose when he wants to attack players as opposed to be, permanently fed the ball and having to go at players. And I feel that now that he's got a little bit more freedom, he's a lot better, in these attacking instances, and he's super composed, and his understanding position, he obviously makes him, very good in where he's playing. And like he mentioned, he loves a good diagonal, across the pitch. So when he's playing left wing, it doesn't really make sense. And as a striker, he doesn't get that opportunity. So now, he's getting to at least enjoy himself in that element.
There's a popular saying that no one is perfect, and having tabled how interesting these two players are, one struggles to find out what could possibly be their areas of improvement. But you know better. Any areas of improvement for the two teenagers?
Look, like I said, in terms of where they are at the football IQ level, there'll always be much to improve on. They're still getting to that mental maturity age, where you start to understand football like an adult, and then you can play, against anybody. But they're very close to getting there. I think just from my side, it's more, a little bit of technical aspects, first touch, both of them are very good with both feet, but we always try and make, the weak foot more proficient, so that's equal level. because as you know, in South Africa, not many players have a weak foot, even all the way up to professional level in the PSL. So we try and bridge that gap, and try and make sure that the players are, like we say, complete footballers.
How was the experience in the United States of America for the Complete Football Academy players?
Oh, look, it was, this is our second year going. Last year we went, we took only a group of 8 players, so we didn't get to play as many games as we would have. But then we went to the camp and, we did very well in the camp there. Came about second place. We unfortunately lost on the last day, so we didn't get to win. But out of those players, we took 3 matrics. 2 of them actually got scholarships. And like we said a few days ago, some of them actually have now gone over. And one of them saw for himself that it, wasn't good for him. So he rather wants to, go the professional route. So that's how we're going. Now, when we go to this year, we obviously had a much bigger group. So we were able to play, against different academies and, one college team, which is also doing considerably well, in their, it's a college club team that they play in the off season in their league. They're like in the playoffs. So we managed to draw 2-2 to them, Danville Locomotive. And then we got to play against different academy teams. And then when we went to the camp again, we got to play against a lot of the different high school teams. And this year we were undefeated. So we ended up winning at least. It did go down to the wire. We were in penalties, but very good game.
And Coach, you will agree with me that running an academy is not a child's play. You got to witness different scenarios in football, including corruption such as bribery from players or their parents to coaches, and a fly-by-night academy. But here you are pushing your own great agenda in the Complete Footballer Academy, making certain that you correct the mistakes of the journey that you've been part of as a footballer and later on as a coach. Let's talk about the challenges that you are faced with when it comes to Complete Football Academy. It looks like we're having challenges with that line to the coach, but we still have the 2 teenagers in sport, the footballers under Complete Footballer Academy. Let's wrap up the conversation with the 2 players. Amo, let's wrap up with you. When is your next match? We've lost the lines to the teenagers in sport. Let's just check in if we still have Liam on the line. Liam, are you still there? That line is also off. Those were the teenagers in sport. Amolenza, a 17-year-old, together with Liam Leroux, an 18-year-old, and their mentor, Coach Zenito Kowa, well known as Coach Zen. 15:32 Central African Time. We take a short break. All things Africa at Play. We'll be back shortly.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Zochitika ndimo dapiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse
nduna wazamalonda kumalawi waletsa kampani yopanga shuga ya Ilovo yomwe ndi nthambi ya Ilovo Sugar Group Limited kuti isiye kutumiza shuga kumayiko akunja. Malingana ndi nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mbumba, izi zithandiza kuti shuga yemwe yakusowa pamsika azipezeka. Ndiye pano ndili ndi George Muhangu amene ali mu mzinda wa Blantyre mu dziko la Malawi. Chimene chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndi chani?
Chomwe chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndichonena kuti panopo ili ngati off season ya makampani a Ilovo Sugar Malawi, kunena kuti sakutha kupanga shugayi okwanira chifukwa akukolola. Ndiye akamaliza kukolola pameneno atayambeno sopano kugaya shugayi kuti azipezeka. Chinanso ndichonena kuti ma distributors amene akumakagula shuga kaya ndi ku Ilovo kaya ndi kusalima shuga akumagulisa kumayiko akunja ngati Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mozambique.
Zochitika ndimo dapiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa. From football fields to finish lines.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
15:34 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, this is Africa at Play. We're doing this every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. If not, you can connect with us from anywhere you are on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Please do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on Programs and search for Africa at Play, and you will be able to access conversations you might have missed out on by clicking on More at the bottom right screen of Africa at Play. On our topic of the day, we're taking a quick flight to our Southern African neighbors and land in Lusaka, Zambia, the capital of the country, where Namuchana speaks to a basketball coach, Sitenge Kandala, on the state of women's basketball on the African continent, and also zooming into action that currently is underway in Cote d'Ivoire, the AfroBasket 2025 edition that concludes today and kicked off on the 26th of July. Let's go to Lusaka.
The 29th edition of FIBA Women's Afro Basketball 2025 tipped off on Saturday the 26th of July in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and is concluding today, Sunday the 3rd, bringing together 12 of Africa's top national teams for high-stakes basketball. We're asking, can the Tigresses of Nigeria make history by becoming the first team to win 5 consecutive titles? And what is the state of women's basketball in Africa? I have with me Coach Sitenge Kandala. Coach, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. We are looking at the 29th edition of FIBA Women's Afro Basketball 2025. Coach, you are aware that the Afro Basketball kicked off on July the 26th, and today the games are coming to an end. Do you think that the Tigresses of Nigeria can make history by becoming the first team to win 5 consecutive titles, Coach?
On the state of women's basketball, I think women's basketball in Northern and West Africa is doing very well. I think they've got the structures right. They've gotten things sorted out. If you look at Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, those teams are doing very, very well. Southern Africa, not so well. Southern and Eastern Africa, not so well. I think Rwanda isn't bad. Rwanda's gotten quite a bit of investment, obviously, because President Kagame has an interest in basketball. But other than that, East Africa, Southern Africa, not doing too well. The only team in Southern Africa that is carrying the flag really is Mozambique. The dominant teams that we used to know, for example, Angola, aren't doing so well. I don't think Angola's won a game this AfroBasket. I don't think. I could be wrong. If memory serves me right, I know they've lost. I think they lost the 2 games they played, and they haven't done very well. So I don't see Angola as a powerhouse anymore. But that has been the trend for the last few years. Angolan basketball has gone down, and there's not much that really can be done. I don't think Southern Africa and East Africa have invested that much in basketball infrastructure, getting the women's game to where it should go, making sure there's a lot of opportunities for women. I don't think Southern Africa has done that much. North Africa, West Africa, those guys have really gotten their hand on the ball, and they're moving quite well. And I think we're going to see a lot of strides in women's basketball on that end. Other than that, yes, women's basketball is doing well. Top half of Africa, bottom half, not so. I do believe Coach Rina Wakam has done her homework. I mean, she's scooped the last few editions, and she's still doing very well. The team seems to be quite consistent, though there were a few problems going into this edition of the AfroBasket. There was a bit of uncertainty. They were not in camp early. Certain things were not right. But I still think they'll pull it off. The Tigresses started off very well with an emphatic win against Rwanda, 92-45. Then they beat Mozambique 60-55 to emerge top of the group and clinch quarterfinal berth. Looking at what's left, I think realistically they should be in a good place. And like I said, I expect them, me personally, I am rooting for them. I always have. The last few editions, I remember friends of mine telling me they were going to fall. Yes, they will fall at some point, but I don't think it'll be right now. I could be wrong. I still see them going all the way, at least all the way until the final. Then maybe something might happen there. I think people should be wary of the fact that the last edition of the Olympics in 2024, the Nigerian team got to the quarterfinals, which is the first for any African team. So there's never been an African team that's gone that far. So I think they're on the right track. Yeah, they're out to show us what they can do. The Nigerian national team, the women's national team, the Tigresses as they are popularly known, have indeed entered the 2025 edition of the AfroBasket as outright favorites, I would say. They've been successful in the last, I think, 4 editions, if my memory serves me right, which should be 2017, 2019, 2021, and 2023. So should they win this one, this will be a 5th straight title. Looking at the way they're going, I do believe they will go all the way, unless something happens and they just decide that they don't want to go all the way. So in a nutshell, I do expect the Nigerian national team to do very well. They've gotten it done so far. Going to the quarterfinal stage, there's a few more games left, but we'll see what happens. Personally, I'm rooting for them, and I'll keep on doing so. As to women's basketball, I think it's in a good place up north and to the west of Africa, whereas to the east and south, not so good. A lot needs to be done. We finally have a Nigerian woman, Shanae Ogunmike, who was one of the WNBA stars, as one of the brand ambassadors for the BAL and the NBA, representing the women's game. So I think realistically, the sky is the limit, exposure-wise, and we just need to get the talent right. We just need to get the training right, and then push on from there. Otherwise, I do think women's basketball is in a good place. Angola obviously need to pull up. Mozambique is doing wonderful things, but other than that, I think there's very little happening southern and eastern Africa-wise. Thank you very much.
The views of Vositenge Kandala, who is a basketball coach here in Zambia, on our topic today, and we were looking at the 29th edition of FIBA Women's Afro Basketball 2025, and we were asking, can the Tigresses of Nigeria make history by becoming the first team to win 5 consecutive titles, and what is the state of women's basketball in Africa? We had the basketball coach Sitenge Kandala talking to us today. For Channel Africa Sports, Namchana from Zambia.
15:41 Central African Time. Thank you to Namuchana, our correspondent in Lusaka, Zambia, and his guest, basketball coach Sitenge Kandala, for unpacking our topic of the day, where we're talking about the state of women basketballers on the African continent. You can also share your thoughts via a WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take those voice notes.
180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
Mix Vibration sur Channel Africa.
C'est notre invité du jour, la belle Aïna Mwenze. Elle est là, certaine, l'appelle Boss Lady.
Bonjour Monsieur Gelino.
Parlez-nous un tout petit peu de vous.
Je m'appelle Boss Lady Aïna. Je mets l'accent sur le nom de Boss Lady parce que je mérite cela après le travail fait, et c'est une rémunération au titre de la personne que je suis devenue aujourd'hui. Épouse et une mère de 4 garçons, et voilà ce que je veux dire pour l'instant.
Et vous vous êtes lancé dans le business, comment c'est venu?
En tant que mère, et se retrouvant dans les pays étrangers, particulièrement en Afrique du Sud, je me disais que laisser les enfants sur la charge des travailleurs ou d'une bonne, ça serait pas très intéressant. Je me suis dit, bon, je dois essayer de m'organiser et trouver un emploi que je peux faire.
Mix Vibration, tous les dimanches de 18h à 19h, temps universel.
Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
15:43 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. A warm welcome if you have just joined us. Let's go to voice notes, starting with Eric Lichwele.
Good afternoon, Africa at Play. I'm Eric Lichwele from Midrand. I certainly agree that women's basketball in Africa is experiencing significant growth and development. Several factors contribute to this progress, include the recent success of African champions, the Nigerian sides. The Tigresses have dominated the FIBA Women's Afro Basket, winning 4 consecutive titles from 2017 to 2023. Global representation. African teams are participating in international competitions, with Mali and Nigeria representing Africa at a FIBA Under-19 Women's Basketball World Cup. Development initiatives. FIBA's strategic priority. FIFA has prioritized increasing female participation in basketball with goals to develop female coaches, officials, and players. Ball for Hair program. The Basketball Africa League Ball and Afrexim Bank partnered to host the Under-23 basketball camp for female players, promoting equality and development in women's basketball. Infrastructure development. Countries like Rwanda are investing in sports infrastructure such as Kigali Arena to host international basketball events. Challenges and opportunities. Grassroots development. Despite progress, challenges persist in developing basketball in rural areas and promoting inclusivity, talent identification. Initiatives like the NBA Academy Africa and Basketball Without Borders are helping identifying and nurture young talent. Global partnerships, collaborations with organizations like Google and TCL are enhancing the feasibility of women's basketball. Thank you. Nice show.
19:45 Central African Time. Thank you to Eric Lechweleng for sharing his comprehensive thoughts on our topic of the day, where we're talking about the state of women's basketball on the African continent. You still have an opportunity to drop us your thoughts on WhatsApp, a voice note. The number is +27 63 406 9126. We've got a caller from Nigeria, that is Patrick Omoridione, who wants to talk about the state of women's basketball on the African continent. Patrick, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
No, I'm doing good. Now that I'm hearing your voice, I'm super good indeed. Let's talk about the state of women's basketball on the African continent. The Tigresses of Nigeria doing wonders, having won 4 consecutive titles of the ongoing AfroBasket. Your thoughts on the state of AfroBasket, women's basketballers in Africa?
Well, these Tigers are doing well, but that does not reflect the state of basketball in Nigeria, actually, because if you check, most of the players who are representing Nigeria are not based in Nigeria. They are not playing in the local league. I will not say the reflection of what is happening in the Nigerian league. Most of them are from the US and Europe. So based on that, I wouldn't say that basketball is really growing here, especially in Nigeria. But the agitators are not taking pains to see how they can grow the league, as the players we need for national competition. We have a lot of players, we have a lot of talent here, but they are not harnessed, The agitators are not doing enough to see how these players can get to play international basketball. Because the few ones who are getting there are the people. Even the Nigerian league is not even functioning right now. So you can see that. Just go to the league and see. Most of them are college students in the US. And I wouldn't say that is a reflection of the league in Nigeria. I don't know whether that is the same thing with all other Africans, but Nigeria is not the standard. No problem.
Patrick, if you can just move slightly because your feedback is a bit unclear. Are you able to move a touch? I'll tell you if the audio quality is better.
Okay. Sorry?
Yes, I was saying if you could just make a slight move so that we... Yes, I can hear you now. I wanted to find out from you, what do you think needs to happen for Nigerian basketball to make it to the elite level?
Wow, I didn't hear you clearly.
I'm saying, what do you think needs to happen?
To find out what?
What do you think needs to happen for Nigerian basketball to develop properly?
Wow. Can you call me on WhatsApp? This one is not clear.
Okay, no problem. That is Patrick Omoridione there from Nigeria saying the performance of the Tigresses of Nigeria does not translate to the actual state of women's basketball in the country. 15:48 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, all things Africa at Play continues.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Vue d'Afrique avec Joël Mouteba.
Cette peur d'un point de non-retour nucléaire suffit-elle selon vous à légitimer une telle offensive, monsieur Taladi?
Absolument pas du tout. Cela fait plus de 30 ans que l'Israël crie haut et fort sur les toits, où il veut se faire entendre que l'Iran serait à 1 an donc obtenir l'arme nucléaire. Parfois, l'Iran serait à 6 mois. Parfois, l'Iran serait à 2 semaines pour obtenir son arme nucléaire. Et curieusement, jusqu'à ce jour, il n'y a toujours aucune preuve que l'Iran a obtenu cette arme nucléaire en dépit des déclarations d'Israël et de certaines puissances parfois.
Vue d'Afrique, du lundi au vendredi de 15h à 16h, temps universel.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
15:49 Central African Time. We've got another caller from Nigeria, Joe Apu, who wants to weigh in on our topic of the day, the state of women's basketball in Africa. Joe, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm
can
good.
you hear me?
I'm good. And you?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Lovely stuff indeed. Talk to us about the state of women's basketball in Nigeria and on the African continent. What have you witnessed out there?
Well, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of action, and the Nigerian girls have been doing very, very well. And even when they trail, they do come back and take the game at the end of the day. So it's been very exciting, and for many Nigerians, they are happy with the performance of the Tigress.
Joe Apu calling us from Nigeria. Joe, thank you so much for your thoughts on the state of women's basketball in Nigeria, and big ups for the Tigresses who are doing superbly well on the African continent. And let's hope that as our previous caller, Patrick, said that development still needs to happen in Nigerian women's basketball, because most of these players, they play college football abroad, the ones that are currently representing the national team. Thank you so much, Joe. Have a good afternoon further.
Thank you very much.
15:51 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. That's how we wrap up our conversation on our topic of the day, where we were talking about the ongoing 2025 edition of the AfroBasket tournament currently underway in Cote d'Ivoire. It kicked off on the 26th of July, and today is the day of conclusion. And we're looking at a scenario where the Tigresses of Nigeria that have triumphed on 4 consecutive moments are looking for their 5th consecutive title. 15:52 Central African Time. It's time for a short break. We'll be back shortly.
Where champions rise and legends are made. Join Neto Chemane on Africa at Play, only on Channel Africa.
Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
Shazamave mwana ndakuvara pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara dana maive mwana ndakuvara kuno pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara ndaiti tichatoredzera vakuru vacho pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara nyamba chaifuratira vakuru vaya pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara ndachireva chiri mumakura ndaiti mangwana tingazomupa boisi chitandirimira chazokura ndiri kumaive mwana chandikunda ndaichichiva tiri mumakura ndaiti mangwana ndingazokopavo chirandirimira chazokura ndiri kumave mwana tandikunda shozamaive mwana ndakuvara pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara dana maive mwana ndakuvara pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara ndaiti tichatoredzera vakuru vacho pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara nyamba chaifuratira vakuru vacho pakupingudza mombe ndakuvara ndaichichiva chiri mumakura ndaiti mangwana ndingazokopavo chichatirimira chazokura tiri kumaive mwana tandipfuura ndaichiyeva chiri mumakura ndaiti mangwana tingazokopavo chichatirimira chazokura tiri kumaive mwana tandipfuura
15:57 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Not only is African music exciting, but African languages too. Ndakuvara by the legendary Oliver Mtukudzi. May his soul rest in peace. His legacy continues through his music and many other musical legends, not just from Africa, but globally. Let's update you on the MTN 8 matches. Yesterday, Orlando Pirates had a good day in the office after beating Polokwane City by 2-0. Sekhukhune United triumphed by 3-2 against TS Galaxy, the Rockets. Stellenbosch FC up against Amazulu. That match is on a halftime break at 1-1, and there's still a match coming up. That is Mamelodi Sundowns, Masandawana, who will be taking on the Natal Rich Boys, Richards Bay, and we will continue to update you on different matches that are taking place across the African continent. And the African Nations Championship kicked off yesterday in style, where an East African nation, Taifa Stars, managed to beat the Stallions Burkina Faso by 2-0 in the tournament opener. Today is another East African nation who are co-hosting, that is Kenya, who are leading DR Congo by 1-0. It looks like these East African nations are out there to prove a point that home ground advantage advantage still prevails as they are doing well in their opening matches. And it's 90 minutes of football that has been played between Kenya and DR Congo. 5 minutes optional time by Mr. Ref. That match can come to an end at any moment. We will update you on the final score as soon as it reaches its final whistle. Morocco, the Atlas Lions, will take on Angola at 1700 Central African time. Madagascar will line up against Mauritania at 1900 Central African time. The West African derby between Niger and Guinea is tomorrow at 1600, and Uganda, the third East African co-hosting nation, is back on the field of play in their tournament opener against the Desert Foxes of Algeria tomorrow at 1900 Central African time. Congo up against Sudan on Tuesday the 5th of August at 1600 Central African time. Teranga Lions of Senegal will be up against Nigeria in another West African derby. This match is on Tuesday the 5th of August at 1900 Central African time. 15:59 Central African time, heading rapidly to 1600. That's how we wrap up our second hour of Africa at Play, where we got to speak to the MTN 8 legends Morgan Gold and Lehlonolo Majoro, talking all things to the MTN 8 and their footballing journey. We also got to speak to two teenagers, Amolenza and Liam Leroux from Footballer Complete Academy, together with their mentor coach Zanito Gowa, well known as Coach Gowa. And we are now heading to the third and final hour of Africa at Play, where we will be kicking off the conversation with Jan Bergman, the boxing legend who is now also involved in EFC Extreme Fighting Championship. After the short break.
What are the sports legends up to? Let's find out from our legend of the day on Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
16:01 Central African time. If you have just joined us, a warm welcome to Africa at Play. You can get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. If you have missed out on any of our conversations that we've had earlier on, do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on programs and search for Africa at Play, and you will be able to have a moment to listen to those conversations that you might have missed out on. Jan Bergman, affectionately known as a Kid, is regarded as one of the most exciting punchers in the 90s. Fast with a dangerous left hooker, he looked destined for greater heights when he came through the ranks under the watchful eye of a man he refers to as Uomboki. And I remember myself witnessing Jan Bergman in the boxing ring. Very quick, very amazing moments with his feet, and the punches that comes your way. If you are not awake, he will make certain that you never get to wake up again. Jan Bergman, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be on Africa.
Yes, it's good to have you here. We've spoken during my visits at EFC Africa about you having a conversation with us on Africa at Play because of the rich history in terms of your story as a boxer, but your involvement now in Extreme Fighting Championship. So we are really grateful, and our listeners are just as exhilarated. Let's get on to it. When did you jump onto the boxing ring for the first time, and what drew your attention to boxing?
Well, I started age of 11 years. 11 years, and I was still going to school. And what happened basically was the township where I grew up in Tukumses, when you go to the shop, they are robbing you. When there's guys standing there, and they're robbing you, and then you go back home, you don't have the money, and your parents is going to give you ID. So that's what made me to start boxing.
And look how life goes. A scenario like that where you are being targeted by those who are able to bully you because of they are a group of guys and it's just you. And it turned out to be a direction to the sport of boxing, and you made it big in the sport. Little do people know that it was inspired by bullying. So not every negative thing in life is negative with its outcome. Interesting indeed. And I know Tukomsres, also known as Tukis in the west of Johannesburg. Interesting indeed. How was it growing up in Tukis, except for this bullying that drew your attention to boxing?
Well, I can say I'm so there was no problems after then. I started going to school. I was about 12 years old, 13 years old, and then once I could box, I went back to and I beat them up. All those guys who were trying to take the change when I come back from the shop, I managed to fight with them, and I beat them up.
Did they come back perhaps to confess, to say, hey, we used to try and take advantage of you, but here you are now beating us up? Or it was one of those scenarios where embarrassment wouldn't allow them to?
Well, for me, the minute we started fighting with them, they didn't come back to me again. And what happened was, every time we were not past each other. He could not come and walk in the same line where I am. He's running away every time.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to the boxing legend, former exciting boxer Jan Bergman, also known as Kid, and now involved in Extreme Fighting Championship as one of the officials. So Bergman, let's talk about you now as a professional boxer. How did you get to your first professional boxing match?
My first boxing match, it happened in the 1983s or 84s. And it was there in Krugersdorp. And I had to go and fight somebody there. And I lost that fight. And it happened about 3 times. And then after the third time I lost again, then my grandfather came and talked to me, and he tells me, you want to box? I said, yes, I'm trying to box, but this and that. He says, no, you must go and run. That's all I need you to go and do. Every time you must go and run. And I was like, Granddad, I'm training. He says, no, whatever the coach teaches you in the gym, duplicate it yourself. When you come home, you do it. And I've done that. And when I went into the ring, that's a different story.
Interesting indeed. And you've mastered the boxing technique and came up with your own style where you were just so quick with everything that you did in the boxing ring. Talk to us about that journey. How did you get to that point of comfortability of saying, I'm going to capitalize with quick punches, because not every boxer is that fast?
Yeah, but what happened is, it's a fight. You step in the ring, you do what you want to do. You don't have to say, no, let me wait for 1 minute for another round or something. No, you go in there, do your job, and you get it right.
Who are some of the trainers that you got to work with in your journey, and what's so special about them?
Well, they were very good trainers, and I really appreciate them all. One of our trainers passed on. He turned into 91 years old. Then he passed on. And my current trainer is still there in Tukomsres, Uncle Boki.
Uamboki. Talk to us about Uamboki, because he's very close to your heart amongst some of these trainers that you got to work with.
Yes, we were very close to each other. Myself and Umboki, he really helped me a very lot. And only thing what happened when we split, I was not staying in Tukomsres, I was staying in Krugersdorp. And I was always coming to the gym, and then certain things happened, and then me and Umboki split, and then I went back to America, and I got a coach that side.
16:08 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we're talking to our boxing legend, that is Jan Kid Bergman, who has done the most in the boxing ring, making certain that he represents not just South Africa, but the African continent very well. Let's talk about some of the fights that are still stuck in your mind where you really thought that you've done this continent very well.
Well, all I can say that for me to turn to become a South African champion, I fought one of the best fighters in the weight, which is junior welterweight. And that was Aaron Kabi. Very tough fucker. And I tried to knock him out, but man, he was so tough and so skillful. But I could manage that, and that put me through. And then I went and fight my first loss on the 33. After 33 fights, I had my first loss in Australia with Costa Zoo. Very good fighter, but very good fighter. But he was just too good for me, and I lost on that day. So I turned back and I wanted to fight him back, but he didn't want to fight me.
16:09 Central African Time. We getting to know the legend better, talking to Jan Bergman, who is a former South African champion who's done wonders in the boxing ring and is now involved in Extreme Fighting Championship as one of the officials. Legend, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out more about Jan Kid Bergman, who is now an Extreme Fighting Championship official.
Years of great sporting action is as good as a lifetime because the legends stay on. Call us on +27 63 406 9126 and contribute to the conversation. What are the sports legends up to? Let's find out from our legend of the day on Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
A warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we're still getting to know our legend better, Jan Bergman. Jan, thank you so much for staying on the line. There's always a fight that you don't want to remember for obvious reasons, that you didn't have a good day in the boxing ring. Do you have one of those?
Well, that will be only my first loss, and after then I could handle every problem I was facing in a ring with other boxers. I went and break my hand when I knocked out Zeb Judah. After I knocked him down, my hand was broken, and I tried the next 3 rounds to go on with him, but then I could see no. On the 4th round, I took a knee and I said no, I'm done, because I could see I'm getting when I jab him, my hand is sore and it's hurting me a lot.
If you could reverse the time and go back to the boxing ring, who would you call out for an opponent?
Well, I then, after Zeb Judah beat me in New York, I went back and I challenged him and he didn't want to fight me.
Interesting indeed. So he knew what was coming his way.
He knew what was coming, because after I knocked him down, he came back, and then when I started jabbing him, and I felt the pain, and I said to myself, okay, let me let him win this fight. It's fine. I'll get back. And I tried to fight him again. He did not want to fight with me.
What are your thoughts on the state of boxing in South Africa?
Well, I don't know how I can say it, because boxing is not so good as in the times when we were fighting. The boxers, they don't treat them well. It's not good.
We are heading to Extreme Fighting Championship EFC 126 coming up this coming Thursday, the 7th of August. What are you looking forward to? And as an official, what precisely do you do on the day?
Okay, on that day, what I'll do is EFC's rules in the fighting era says that they cannot stop a fight if there is bleeding. So I am there as a cutman. I'm stopping the blood and making sure that they can continue fighting onwards.
I also see you when attending these EFC fights, massaging the players' faces with some oil. What's the purpose of that you do just before the boxers walk onto the hexagon?
Yeah, that is for a fighter. Okay, the rule of EFC, you can use your elbow, you can use your knee, you can use everything. So when we put Vaseline on his face, that is better so that whenever he gets a punch, it's slipping.
Interesting indeed. We learn every day. What do you like so much about EFC?
Well, what I like about EFC is the fact that it's a street fight. That is not a disciplined fight where there's rules you cannot use. You can use everything you want to do. So I love EFC and everybody who tries to fight with me, I know what to do.
Are you still involved in boxing, perhaps as a trainer?
Yes, I am. I'm a trainer. I'm Kuruleni's team. I'm the trainer in this Kuruleni team of them.
Is South Africa blessed with talent when it comes to boxing?
Oh, there's plenty talent. Oh, there is so nice, beautiful fighters. So there is really our boxers currently is very much upgraded. I'm so happy to see that.
That's the voice of the boxing legend, Jan-Pieter Bergman, talking to us on Africa at Play. My good legend, before I say goodbye, your parting shot?
Come again?
Before we say goodbye, what would you like to say to Africa and the world, especially in this Women's Month?
Well, if it's Women's Month, let's all respect our ladies and help them where we can. It's their month, and let them make it happen. Also, for the rest of the sports, I'm in EFC and I'm also in the boxing. So I'm so happy that I can see that our boxing is getting better. The amateurs are fighting very well, and we are training them, and we are supporting and making sure that they can become professionals as well.
Exciting indeed to see that the legends are not just folding their arms after hanging up their boxing gloves, but they return to the boxing gyms, boxing clubs, and the boxing ring to ensure that they part ways with the knowledge they've gathered during their active days as boxers. That is Jan-Pieter Bergman talking to us on Africa at Play. So Bergman, thank you so much for your time, for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best moving forward.
Thank you very much, and all the best for Africa.
16:16 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our Legends Corner with the boxing legend Jan-Pieter Bergman. It's just exciting. A story where someone goes to the shops, gets bullied, and then he thinks at the age of 11 it's better to find a defense mechanism, and boxing became that defense mechanism. And look what happened. He became a professional boxer and is now plowing back to the current generation as a trainer, also involved in Extreme Fighting Championship, EFC, as an official. Exciting indeed. We take a short break. We will be back shortly.
What are the sports legends up to? Let's find out from our legend of the day on Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África.
Ok.
Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no Music @channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
16:19 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday on DSTV Audio Bouquet, channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us from anywhere you are online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available on SABC Plus. We now welcome to the show Sam Mboza, who is in Kampala, Uganda. But with the Chen tournament happening, he could just be anywhere. We're still having a delayed connection with Sam Mboza, but we will undoubtedly have him any moment from now on. But while waiting, let's bring you up to speed with the Chen tournament that kicked off yesterday. Tanzania Taifa Stars beat the Stallions of Burkina Faso by 2-0. That match took place at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. And today we've witnessed Kenya Harambee Stars, led by coach Benny McCarthy, who triumphed by 1-0 against the Central African outfit DR Congo. It is a good start, I must say, for the two East African co-hosting nations that have triumphed in their opening matches. Morocco will take on Angola at 1700 Central African time, and Madagascar up against Mauritania at 1900 Central African time. West African derby, Niger up against Guinea tomorrow at 1600 Central African time, and the Uganda Cranes, the third East African country that will be only opening their matches tomorrow up against the Desert Foxes of Algeria, will be under pressure, or perhaps all eyes will be on them to make certain that they complete victory for all three East African nations. But of course, it's not going to be a walk in a park against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. As we know, football in North Africa is taken very serious from the grassroots level to the elite level. Congo up against Sudan on Tuesday, the 5th of August at 4 p.m. Central African time. And Senegal, the Teranga Lions, will take on the Super Eagles of Nigeria on Tuesday, the 19th of August. And match day 2 matches will kick off on Wednesday, the 6th of August, and we will continue to update you on different sporting codes. We now go into Zambia, as we were unable to connect with Sam Mboza, as we welcome Namuchana. So Namuchana, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Yeah, good afternoon, Neto, and good afternoon to all our listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. It is a good start for East African nations. We've witnessed Taifa Stars of Tanzania beating the Stallions of Burkina Faso by 2-0 at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam yesterday. That is a good start indeed. And that match was in Group B. And today we've witnessed Harambee Stars, led by South Africa's Benny McCarthy, managing to get victory, a narrow 1-0 victory against Central Africans DR Congo. Action continues, and all eyes will be on the East African third nation in the Uganda Cranes, who will be lining up against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. Your thoughts so far on the matches we've witnessed and the pressure going to the Uganda Cranes?
Yeah, basically I think we are witnessing some good football. Though personally, I would say I'm not all that convinced in terms of the quality that I've watched so far, and I would concur with what Mr. Smata said when he spoke about this thing. It's no longer about a talent, exposing talent. Okay, it's no longer about developing talent. It is all anchored on which team will win it. So otherwise, somehow, I think the intention was so good. The intention by the Confederation of African Football to develop a local talent was good. But I think somehow it has been diluted. But the Bashas would want to lament over that. So far, so good. I never expected
the Taifa Stars. I'll be very honest with you. I never expected them to win, and I never also expected Kenya that it can do wonders by winning its first game, considering that these are local players. The so-called professionals in invented commas are not allowed to take part. But there is nothing that we can do. We are watching what we are watching now, and going forward, we expect to see good matches, and I can't wait, Neto, to watch my own country, Zambia, going to play its first game. Those are in a very, very tough group consisting of the likes of Morocco. I only hope that they can even go to the quarterfinals. The reason why I'm saying this, Neto, is due to the fact that Zambia never played any games in the qualifiers, due to the fact that the team that they were supposed to have played with, Mozambique, pulled out. And the Football Association of Zambia first failed to organize friendly matches for our local players. The only time we saw them play, it was when they went to Kosafa, right there in South Africa, where their performance wasn't all that good. And this led to your man, Wetson Nyirenda, I think, to leave his post, and the Football Association of Zambia. They had to bring in the senior Zambia national soccer team coach. So basically, I will tell you, Neto, I'm not all that happy with what I've watched so far. But maybe these are early days. Let's give the teams that are there a bit of some time. Maybe as the tournament will progress into the knockout stages, we might watch good talent. We might watch good football. Maybe something good is still on the way.
It is interesting what happens in football, Mr. Namuchana, and I'm saying this because DR Congo have triumphed the Chan tournament on 2 occasions, but here they are. They've lost it to one of the 3 co-hosting nations in the Harambee Stars of Kenya. They will be playing against Chipolopolo on Tuesday, the 7th of August. Do you think they will come fire blazing, or it's one of those moments where Chipolopolo could worsen the upset and also get victory from DR Congo?
Yeah, I will tell you that Zambia is not in a good place right now. I think they're in a very bad place because the players that have traveled to Chan, I'm not so confident about them, Neto. I'll have to be very honest with you, and they'll find it very difficult actually even to beat the Democratic Republic of Congo. But knowing how football is played, anything is possible in football. They can either lose to the Democratic Republic of Congo, or beat Congo itself, or even get a draw. So we are yet to see what will happen. But I've got a feeling it will be a tough one between Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So it will go down to who wants it most. That is where it will go. But the team that Zambia has carried, I'm not convinced in it.
Namuchana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, talking to us on Africa at Play. So, Namuchana, you got to speak about the state of women's basketball on the African continent with one of the Zambian basketball coaches in Sitenga Kandala. Let's talk about the state of women's basketball in Zambia. What did you pick up from the coach?
Yeah, if you heard what the coach Stephen, the coach Kandala was saying, the Stenge Kandala, you would agree with me that he really brought out very good points. Southern Africa, Central Africa, and East Africa, we are not doing all that good. We are not performing well when it comes to women's basketball. I think it is doing better in West Africa and North. We are yet to reach that level here in Southern Africa where we can say, yes, we have developed, and I have to be very honest with you, a basketball in Zambia, it is one of the top sports that we have. And mostly it is played by men. Otherwise, I haven't seen, I'm yet to come across a fully fledged league for women here in Zambia. It is played here in Zambia. But if I will tell you to say, yes, it is doing well, the Zambian women are doing extremely well when it comes to basketball, I think I'll be lying, Neto. We have a lot to do as a country in order to develop a women basketball. I think as a country, we have failed to get it, maybe due to the fact that a lot of sporting codes are struggling financially. And this is an issue that we have spoken so many times on this forum, Neto. So it will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of financial support to make sure that women basketball in Zambia is taken to greater heights. Otherwise, it is there. It is being played, but not on that level where you can even go and compete internationally. The women, the men's basketball, they try to compete here and there, but even them, they are still limping. We still have got a lot to do as a country, and how I wish the principles of the game can up their game and do more so that we develop basketball network. This is one of the best sports around. It helps human beings develop physically and mentally.
As we wrap up this confirmation, Namachana, what's the latest in Zambian sport?
The only latest that we have right now, Neto, is that the Football Association of Zambia, they have clarified. They have said the reason why Avram Grant is the one in charge of the team that has traveled to Chan. It is because your main man, this is Wada, this is Wetson Yerenda, he decided to leave his job as the coach for the Chan squad. So the Football Association of Zambia didn't have any choice. They had to bring in Avram Grant, who will be assisted by Moses, who happens to be the assistant coach to Avram Grant. And the team arrived in
16:31 Central African time. That was Namachana talking to us on Africa at Play. So Namachana, thank you so much for updating us on the latest in Zambian sport. Have a great afternoon further.
Thank you so much, Neto, and thank you so much for having me.
16:31 Central African time. That was Namachana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, talking to us about a variety of sport issues, including the latest in Zambian sport. We will be heading to the Northwest Province, where we will touch base with the Egyptian coach, that is Amar Sadek, to talk about the ongoing International Wheelchair Basketball Federation that is taking place on the African continent for the first time. That is the inaugural edition of the World Championships, and we will be talking to Amar El Sadek. Let's take a moment to welcome the coach to Africa at Play. Coach, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play. We're still having a hiccup with the connection of that line to the Egyptian coach, but our legendary producer Andisiwe Fagimalu Zobona Mali will reconnect a better line. For now, let's take a short break.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play. Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126 and we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk, it's your chance to air your views, share your opinion, engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective. Zochitika ndi Madaphiri. Kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse.
Nduna wazamalonda kumalawi waletsa kampani yopanga shuga ya Irovo yomwe ndi nthambi ya Irovo Sugar Group Limited kuti isiye kutumiza shuga kumayiko akunja. Malingana ndi nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mbumba, izi zithandiza kuti shuga yemwe yakusowa pamsika azipezeka. Ndiye pano ndili ndi George Muhangu amene ali mu mzinda wa Blantyre mu dziko la Malawi. Chimene chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndi chani?
Chomwe chikupangitsa kuti shuga azisowa ndichonena kuti panopo ili ngati off season ya makampani a Irovo Sugar Malawi, kunena kuti sakutha kupanga shugayi okwanira chifukwa akukolola. Ndiye akamaliza kukolola pameneno atayambeno sopano kugaya shugayi kuti azipezeka. Chinanso ndichonena kuti ma distributors amene akumakagula shuga kaya ndi ku Irovo kaya ndi kusalima shuga akumagulisa kumayiko akunja ngati Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Mozambique.
Zochitika ndi Madaphiri. Lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa, where champions rise and legends are made. Join Neto Chemane on Africa at Play, only on Channel Africa.
16:35 Central African Time. A warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, if you are a football fan, a fan of the Premier League Summer Series, AFC Bournemouth is taking on West Ham United at 8 p.m. Central African Time. And then at 11 p.m. Central African Time, Manchester United, the Red Devils, will take on Everton. And action continues in the African Nations Championship, the Chan tournament. Kenya earlier on beat DR Congo, two-time winners by a narrow 1-0 win. And at 1700 Central African Time, the Atlas Lions of Morocco will take on the Portuguese-speaking outfit Angola at 1700, and at 1900 it will be Madagascar up against Mauritania. Let's now go to Northwest Province and link up with the Egyptian team manager Amar El Sadek. Coach, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. Coach, how has the run been in the ongoing International Wheelchair Basketball Federation IWBF World Championships taking place for the first time on the African continent?
Yeah, it's very amazing. The organizing, everything, the hotels, the accommodation, the playground. Actually, it's very interesting, and it's our first participating in such open World Cup for 3-3 in Johannesburg. So we are so delighted. We are looking for more events in Africa because we are part of Africa, and we'd like to make it succeed.
And I know, Coach, that Egyptians are very passionate when it comes to sport. When they devote their lives to something, they always pull out greater results. You can track it to the football teams, the likes of Al Ahly, Zamalek, the Pyramids, and even if you go to the likes of basketball, you know, there's a whole lot of different sporting codes where we see that Egyptian athletes, when they attend to something with full passion, they always deliver the goods. Talk to us about the state of wheelchair basketball in Egypt. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's our first team to play 3-on-3. We have just established a team 2 weeks ago before the competition. We had a small camp and we had a lot of trainings. And we give the players all the facilities we can do. But it was shortly before the tournament, So we had 8 matches. We won 5 matches, and we lost 3. We are now in the 3rd place of this tournament. The tournament will be finished today. The final game will be established in 15 minutes from now. Most of African teams, Egypt, Kenya, South Africa, this is our first participation in such tournaments, but we promise all that Africa will have the best and will do same as we do in the football, in the wheelchair basketball.
Coach, not a lot of people are familiar to the 3x3. A lot of people are known to the traditional 5 versus 5 basketball match. Talk to us about the 3x3. It looks like it's taking another direction to the highest possible level in terms of heading up to the elite level of the sport.
Yeah, I think it's overall the world, the 3-on-3, it's a new channel. In disabled or on the able bodies also, although it's a new channel to open new teams, new areas, new players. It gives more chances and challenges for the players. If you're not good in 5-5, so you have 3-on-3, and you can do your best and you will be good. And this is what happens in all over the world, especially in Africa.
That's how we wrap up our conversation on all things wheelchair basketball as we wrap up the ongoing International Wheelchair Basketball Federation IWBF World Championship inaugural edition taking place at the Sun City Super Bowl, South Africa's Northwest Province. And we were talking to the Egyptian manager, Amar El Sadek. Mr. Amar, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play, and thank you for the awesome work putting up together a team in just 2 weeks. Yet you've performed a lot better than other nations that have had enough time on the court. That is interesting indeed.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
16:40 Central African time. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration. And we're going to wrap up the show with our conversation with Sam Mpoza, our East African correspondent.
When you're at the top, you become the conversation. Join the hot conversation with Neto and Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, on Africa at Play. Drop us a voice note on +27 63 406 9126.
16:41 Central African time. A warm welcome if you have just joined us. So let's also welcome to Africa at Play Mr. Jolene Nsungu, who's going to tell us more about what to expect on Mix Vibration. A gentleman who always dresses to kill, like he's going far away. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, not more than you. Voilà, sur Mix Vibration cet après-midi, nous aurons une panoplie de musique africaine pour faire du bien à tous les Africains parsemés dans toutes les villes africaines. Eh bien, nous aurons aussi un musicien qui, lui, va nous rejoindre, Peniel Kadima Angelo, et avec son nouvel opus qu'il a mis sur le marché des disques. On va découvrir donc cet album. Merci, bientôt sur Mix Vibration.
That's Channel Africa for you, broadcasting to the world in 5 languages, in English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, Portuguese, and French. Mix Vibration is coming your way in French. As we now welcome to Africa at Play, Sam Mpoza, to help us wrap up the conversations on Africa at Play and to talk more about the Chen tournament that kicked off in East Africa yesterday. Mr. Mpoza, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon. It's already evening in Uganda. Coming to, the time is coming to, I think, 7. Good afternoon, Africa, and good evening, East Africa. Yes, we're happy to be part of this show today as the East African region hosts their first ever Chan Championship.
It has been a good start for East Africa, with Taifa Stars of Tanzania beating the Stallions of Burkina Faso by 2-0 in the tournament opener yesterday, followed by Harambee Stars led by South Africa's Benny McCarthy, a narrow 1-0 win over two-time winners DR Congo. Pressure on the Uganda Cranes, who will be looked at to see if they will be able to prevail against the North Africans, the Desert Foxes of Algeria.
Well, yes. First, it was good for Tanzania to have a good start last evening, beating Burkina Faso goals by 2 goals to 0. That was a wonderful performance for the East African side, and being hosts, I think it's always a good thing for a team to start with a win. Of course, that also motivates other hosts in Kenya and Uganda. Kenya has just beaten DR Congo by 1-0. It's all jubilations in Nairobi. And then tomorrow we shall see another host, Uganda, taking on Algeria. So it's the entire region is excited about the tournament. Though there has been a concern of not enough publicity of the championship, especially here in East Africa, by the organizers. The publicity team did not do a very good job. So us as the media people, we tried to tell people what was going on. But in terms of branding, in terms of advertisement, commercials, there was not enough work, which probably people thought would somehow cost the tournament. But we saw a big turn-up yesterday in Dar es Salaam at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. I've just been watching a very big turn-up at the Moi International Stadium in Kasarani, Kenya, Nairobi. And I hope this also will lead to another big turn-up at the Nelson Mandela National Stadium in Kampala, Uganda, when Uganda will be taking on Algeria. But remember, tomorrow, the first game will be between Guinea and Niger at the Nelson Mandela National Stadium. And that game will kick off at 4 p.m. Ugandan time, East African time. And then later at 8 p.m., Uganda will take on Algeria. And this game will be played under floodlights. So that is what is going on here. So far, 2 hosts have won their games. And we're waiting for the last host, Uganda, tomorrow, to showcase what they have in bank. Remember, Uganda played played 2 friendly games before this game. They lost to Tanzania by 1-0, and then they beat Senegal by 2-1. So at least the boys know what is at stake for them. We hope they will be able also to replicate what the other hosts have done yesterday and today. So tomorrow probably we shall see Uganda also beating Algeria. Algeria is a bogey side for Uganda for a long time. The Arabs have always been a problem to Uganda. Remember the last game Uganda played against Algeria was in the World Cup qualifier. In one of the games that reopened the Nelson Mandela National Stadium, Uganda lost to Algeria by 2-1 at home here at Mandela National Stadium in Kampala. So we hope for better results tomorrow.
What's the latest in Ugandan sport except for football, and what are exciting stories that you're looking forward to in this new week kicking off tomorrow?
Well, both good and bad news. The bad news is that Uganda women basketball team lost to South Sudan in the women's AfroBasket in the quarterfinals. That is the game. The games are going on in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Uganda had won all their games, group games, until they got to meet South Sudan, and then South Sudan beat them by a 2-point margin. It was so painful. Actually, it was 1 point because it was 68-69. Just 1 point. South Sudan, a new member of the AfroBasket Championship, because this was their first time to participate in the AfroBasket Championship. They beat Uganda, and Uganda is out of AfroBasket, despite a very good performance in the beginning, in the first games. Now, the other probably good news is that the Rugby National 7 circuit, the first tournament that opens up the season, is underway. And anytime by probably 8 p.m., we shall know the winner of the first circuit. You know, the National Sevens, they play 7 rounds across the country. They move to different cities in the country. And the first round was played in Kampala. And we hope this one also to go on well. The other good news is that the Uganda junior table tennis team is performing well in Nigeria, where they are playing in the Africa Youth Championship. A number of girls and boys have won their games, and of course that is also a good performance there. And then probably in the Anoka games in Nigeria, Uganda is still taking part there. The young people, the schools, the children, the students are also participating. The Ugandan teams are participating well there, but they're also preparing to leave the country on 9th and 10th to go to Kakamega in Nairobi, where they will be participating in the East Africa Secondary School Games, which will be held and hosted by Kakamega City of Kenya. This is an annual tournament, and the best teams from this championship represent East Africa in the World Schools Games and the Africa Schools Games.
16:49 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play as we are wrapping up the proceedings on the second and final edition on this weekend. We are talking to Sam Mboza all the way from Kampala, Uganda. Mr. Mboza, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on Africa at Play. Before you say goodbye, your special message to women in Africa as we are celebrating Women's Month?
Well, me as a sports person, of course, I wish the women in Africa a good celebration, but especially women in sports. And I want to encourage more women to participate in sports because sports exposes women to a lot, so many things that you can do. I'm so happy that finally women are actually very actively participating in sports, especially here in East Africa. Tomorrow in Dar es Salaam, in one of the games, the center referee is Shamila Navada, a woman referee from Uganda. She's going to be in the center of of men's football. She'll be the center referee in a men's game. So that is a big achievement. She has just come back from the Women Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Now she's officiating in Chad. That is a very big achievement for women in especially football and women refereeing. No one knew that one day a woman would stand in the center and officiate a men's game, a tense men's game. So here she comes tomorrow, and I think it is going to be a very good celebration for her. And of course, she brings out what women can also do. They're saying that what men can do, even women can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to Sam Mboza, our correspondent based in East Africa in Kampala, Uganda, for talking to us on Africa at Play. We take the final break of the show. We will be back shortly with an awesome goodbye.
Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa. We are broadcasting to the world about Africa.
Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender based violence GBV zikuwononga miyoyo komanso kuphwasula midzi zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani, ngati mwakhuzidwa funani chithandizo chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Mverani kuma wireless onse 14 a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julai kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionesero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri, anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi, okhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhuzidwa ndi nkhanzazi. Zonsezi pa wireless yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. Imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhuza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Kutenga kukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
Africa at Play with Neto Chemane.
16:52 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. It doesn't matter how much you love what you do. There's always a moment where you've got to take a bow and say salute. That's how we wrap up the show this afternoon on Africa at Play. We were live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Also available from anywhere in the world online on channelafrica.co.za. We will be back next week, Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. A big thank you to Ms. Lema, our social media specialist, together with our audiovisuals team, that is Tabang Lavisa, together with a special lady, Mem Feketo, and my producer, Andisiwe Fagemalu Zobona Mali. My name is Neto, and Neto Chemane. Hosiati, Konyangazi, Mumka, Pandle Kunjani, Moyani, Vugu Tendele. Africa at Play, as Telele Siashaya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.